Hello there, friends and enemies. I know this is an unorthodox video. We literally just got revealed a new archetype that I thought was interesting enough to want to talk about. The Memento archetype that utilizes old original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel monsters, normal monsters, and repurposes them, giving them some retrains. As with other first look videos, this will not be edited. So you're just getting my full stream of consciousness in one video. Let's go ahead and begin because I think that this archetype is super interesting. So we're starting off with the big guy himself, Memento Tectolica, the Nether Skull Dragon. A 5,000. Jesus Christ. It looks like this archetype is going to be comprised of... Oh, no, I'm wrong. It looks like this boss monster is just the only worm monster. So, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other Memento monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard into the deck or extra deck. Jesus. If you control no other monsters, this card can attack all opponent's monsters once each. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon 1 Memento monster from your hand or graveyard. Oh god, this is a true boss monster. They wanted this to be the boss monster of the archetype, at least on release, at the very least. I think 5,000 is a pretty good attack if you're going to do a boss monster like this that works best with no other monsters on the field. Although I can see that the one big problem with this is going to be trying to keep this guy on the field. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it looks like this deck's probably going to have some foolish burial shenanigans. Moving on, we've got Memento Horn Dragon, a retrain of Tri-Horn Dragon. You can only special summon this with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect once per turn. So those are both hard once per turns. First effect, if you have 3 or more Memento monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, you can target 3 face-up cards on the field, including at least 1 Memento card you control. Destroy them. Interesting. So, free special summon as long as you can dip those cards into your hand. And then if this card gets destroyed, you can -2 your opponent just to dip 1 Memento you control. Okay, that's fine. I think this is interesting. I can't really give, my own ideas on this as it is right now. I'm just kind of going through it. Moving on to Memento Tatsunutsushigo. I have never called that monster by its correct name, if that is its correct name. Memento Seahorse. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. If you control no face-up monsters other than Memento monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and if you do, send any number of Memento monsters with different names whose total levels are equal to or lower than the destroyed monster's original level from your deck to your graveyard. So, helping get those cards into your graveyard for your big worm up there. And then it's another card. It seems like if the rest of the cards are like this, this is going to be another archetype, much like Infernoids, that wants you to play it pure. So we'll see how that works out. Moving on, we've got Memento Fair Witch, a remake of Fairy Witch. You can use the first and second effect once per turn. That's probably going to be a recurring theme. First effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Memento monster from your deck to your hand, except Memento Fair Witch. Good search spell on a stick. You can target 1 level 2 or lower Memento monster in your graveyard, destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster. Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm not sure. Oh, we're getting into the level 1 and level 2s, so we'll probably see what we can do with those monsters. Moving on, we've got Memento Mace, a remake of Key Mace. During your opponent's main phase, if you control Mementorial, the Nether Skull Dragon, I'm not going to say the whole name. Quick effect. You can discard this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. Okay. During your main phase, you can destroy one Memento monster you control, and if you do, add one Memento card from your deck to your hand, except Memento Mace. Okay, generic search, which I like, and then hand trap that lets you take control of a target if you control Nether Skull Dragon, but does that... no other monsters this card can attack. I mean, it gets rid of the first effect, but at least it doesn't destroy your dragon, and that's good. So I do like the Memento Mace. I enjoy that card a lot. Memento Goblin, a retrain of the Goblin Calligrapher. First effect during the main phase, if you control a Nether Skull Dragon, quick effect, you can discard this card. Your opponent cannot target Memento monsters you control with card effects this turn. There we go. There we go. Prevent it from getting sniped. You know, this is definitely a card you're going to have at 3 if you're going to be playing this. During your main phase, you can destroy one Memento monster you control, and if you do, send up to 2 Memento cards with different names from each other from your deck to the graveyard, except for Goblin. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine and fair. It helps get your Nether Skull Dragon out faster, and then it helps keep your Nether Skull Dragon on the field. So I think that's fine. I think the spell and traps are really going to make or break this. So we've got the field spell Nether Skull Temple Mementorian. I am messing these up so bad. You can only use the second effect once per turn. So first effect, if your Memento monster battles, your opponent cannot activate spell traps until the end of the damage step. Okay, I like that. That helps with the same thing that Goblin does. Second effect, once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one of them, special summon one Memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard. I also like that. Third effect, once per turn during your end phase, you can target one Memento spell trap in your graveyard, set it. I love it. I love it. Love this field spell. Enjoy it a lot. Moving on, Memento Bone Party quick play spell. Destroy one Memento monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, take one Memento monster with a different name from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense mode. Okay. It seems like that's going to be happening a lot, getting rid of a Memento to grab one from your deck, which I enjoy. I feel like that could possibly make this a really consistent deck, but I think we'd have to see it in practice first. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Memento monster you control. If it attacks a defense position monster this turn, inflict battle damage to your opponent. Piercing battle damage. Okay. Yeah, piercing battle damage is fine. You know, I feel like it's not really often that you see people put their monsters in defense mode, but it's a decent going second card if your opponent is doing that. You know, personally speaking, when I play, I'm overly confident. You know, I put my monsters in attack mode, even if I'm going first, which is something I really need to get out of the habit of. But this card is definitely a going second card. Memento Bone Back quick play spell. If a face-up Memento monster you control leaves the field by your opponent, special summon one Nether Skull Dragon from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Okay, yeah, I love that. If your opponent moves a Memento monster out of their graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, special summon as many Memento monsters with different names as possible from your hand or your deck. Okay, I love this card. I adore this card. Number one, I feel like if you make an archetype, if Konami makes an archetype where they have a set specific boss monster that's obviously supposed to be the boss monster, having an alternate summoning condition for it, I feel like makes it super good and makes it even more powerful than it is on base, right? And being able to get this card out, if you can get this card onto your field first turn with a shitty Memento card, as long as you can do that, you'll take a hit, but you can bring out Nether Skull Dragon, presumably, as long as your opponent doesn't have something to stop that. And I think that that's great. And then, of course, the second effect is kind of iffy. You know, it's a situational effect, but I feel like it could be really good. You know, I would probably run this at 2 or 3. Again, it all depends on how this deck works in practice. Moving on to trap cards, finally, we've got Memento Fracture Dance. If you control a Memento monster, target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Then, if you control the Nether Skull Dragon, you can destroy 1 more card on the field. Okay, that's fine. When an attack is declared involving your Memento monster and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. All face-up monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. That card's okay. I can't say that I like that card very much, but it's fine. And lastly, for our reveals today, Memento Cranium Burst, a continuous trap. Your opponent's monsters must attack the Memento monsters you control with the highest attack, if able, while you control any. Alright. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can target 1 Nether Skull Dragon you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack, and if it does, negate that effect. I think that's fine. 5,000 attack is not something that a lot of monsters have base-wise, but I do feel like it is very easy for a good amount of monsters, especially boss monsters, to get over that. So all you really have to do is make sure that your opponent's monsters don't get over your Nether Skull Dragon. So I think Cranium Burst and Fracture Dance could kind of work together. I'm sure that there's a better card out there than Fracture Dance. I'm cool with Cranium Burst. I think it's fine. I always enjoy trying to goad your opponent into attacking your highest attack monsters, so I'm cool with Cranium Burst. And overall, I am liking this archetype. It seems really cool. It seems really interesting. I think it would be fun. I can't really say anything to whether or not it's going to be good. Whether or not it's going to be like anything competitive or anything like that, but at least from my eyes as a casual player, it looks like it'd be a fun deck, and it looks like it can be pretty consistent. So those are my thoughts. I just wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the Memento cards. Do you think they're going to be good? Do you think they're just going to be mid or okay? And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope my crazy stream of just talking was entertaining enough. And until next time, as always, drink your water.